Hi, my name is Michael Hustis, and this is Vic First Hybrids. Today we're going to be talking about Flammed 321s. This is a variation on a Shirley Murphy, and so if you haven't already checked that out and kind of mastered that, then you'll probably want to check it out. It's probably on the screen right about here. And make sure you watch that video and that you fully understand the Shirley Murphy concept before we move on. Okay, so a Flammed 321 is a variation that I stumbled upon drumming with friends, and I can't really remember who sat down and actually discovered it for the first time, but we were just trying to mess with Shirley Murphys and then coming up with the idea of a palindrome idea, or doing it backwards. So instead of a Shirley Murphy, which is 1, 2, and then 3 strokes, and then repeat it on the left, 1, 2, 3, the idea is just simply do the rudiment in reverse and do 3, 2, 1. So again, a Shirley Murphy is a 1, 2, 3. And these are a 3, 2, 1. But what's cool about this rudiment is that because there's a single note on the very last partial of the sextuplet, you could actually put another note in there and create a grace note for the following 3. So you can flam the beginning of it. So it has a really neat texture and a neat sound. The Shirley Murphy, because of the 2-1 sticking in particular, the 3 feels a lot the same as the Shirley Murphy. The 3-stroke is kind of a 3-stroke. But the 2-1 is a little bit different and has a little bit different feel. It's essentially a Swiss sticking. And in my hands, it feels like there's almost a slight crescendo. So 3, 2, 1, and you want to feel like you're growing into the next 3-stroke. Almost like it's crescendoing into the accent on the 3-stroke. So there's kind of a push from the 2, 1 into the next 3, and then adding the grace note later on once you feel comfortable with that. So again, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. So I always feel like the energy is increasing from the 2, 1 back into the 3-stroke. So isolating it without the 3, and then adding the 3-stroke in. And then once you've mastered that, you can add the grace note. Another way to break it down is to isolate the right hand 3, 2, 1 and then the left hand 3, 2, 1. So just on the right, and then on the left. Like any flam rudiment, you want to make sure that the grace note is not too open, that you're not popping it, and that you're controlling that space. And if you're playing it with multiple people, playing it in a line, making sure that that grace note is lined up the same way that you would with any flam rudiment. In this case, it is, I think that the tendency is to keep it too open, and if the flam gets open, then the rhythm of the sextuplet will really be distorted, and it'll be really difficult to read. So you want to make sure that the grace note is right in the correct spot. It's open and certainly not popped, but you don't want it to be too open and floppy. And if you're too open, kind of get bouncy and out of control, then it distorts the rhythm and gets really ugly. Again, the Flammed 321 feels really similar to another rudiment, the Deviled Egg. Pete Sapita did a wonderful Vic Firth hybrid video, so you want to check that out right here. And they're really fun to play, and you can kind of slide from one rudiment into the other. So as Pete discussed in his video, that you've got a 3-stroke and 2 2-strokes for a deviled egg. You'll notice that a Flammed 321, if you include the grace note, actually is the same amount of stickings. The interpretation is just simply changed. So if you take deviled egg, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then do a flammed 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, and then that becomes, the second note becomes the grace note of the next flammed 3, 2, 1. So, deviled egg, 3, 2, 2, and a flammed 3, 2, 1. So they're very, very close, and they have the same feel to them, the same flow from right to left hand. So make sure you check out Pete Sapadin's video and get comfortable with the flow of those going back and forth. And then you simply change the interpretation, and you've got yourself a flammed 3, 2, 1. So I'll play a few of each. So I'll play a few deviled eggs, and then I'll slowly morph into playing a 3, 2, 1. So if you heard on the last deviled egg, I cheated, played 3, 2, 1, and instead of doing that last double, I opened the interpretation a little bit, and that became the grace note for the 3, 2, 1. So on the very last one, I'm morphing into the different rudiment. Much like the deviled egg video, the idea of taking the 3 grouping and moving it throughout the rudiment to create different kind of fun variations on how to play. You can do the same thing with the flammed 3, 2, 1. You can do it 3, 2, 1, and then move the 3 after a single note. So 1, 3, 2, and then you can also do it 2, 3, 1, so that you're always moving the 3-stroke and where it's placed in the sextuplet. So let's see if we can give you an example of that. Okay, so those are flammed 3, 2, 1s. They're a lot of fun to play. You can use them in cool combinations, and because they have a wonderful kind of egg beater 3-stroke feel, using them in different combinations, in tandem with playing egg beaters into deviled egg, into flammed 3, 2, 1s, and moving where they are within the partials is a lot of fun to play with. So sitting down with your friends and drumming through and coming up with your own ideas and having a lot of fun with them. Of course, the flams and the interp on those things are things that are non-negotiables, but otherwise be as creative as you possibly can and have as much fun as possible. Enjoy.